Good morning. How's everybody doing? I was just on Christina's channel, and I'm not I'm not in a hurry, but this is going to be a short Tao of the day today because I do have a workshop starting at 9 a.m., which is an hour and 15 minutes, and I'd love to sit back and enjoy another glass of kombucha before that starts. So, if you're interested and anybody is here to chat, I would love to do a little Tao of the day with you. Let me get it all set up here on my end. Yeah, it was great to be on Christina's channel this morning as we chatted a little bit about a trigger that I was experiencing yesterday, and now I get to go into the Tao, and I'm gonna go ahead and pick a number this morning if nobody wants to join, just because we do have to kind of move this along today. Like yesterday, this was a 2 hour talk, and today I might be able to go a little over a half hour, but we'll see what we get. Oh, Catherine. Were you on Christina's channel? Did you hear me? Did you hear me talk about my trigger?
I didn't hear you talk. I just caught the very end, and I just sent hearts.
Oh, okay. I did see you. I saw a couple of your hearts, and I was like, yeah,
I was just about to text you and go, when is Tao of the day?
Yes, it is happening right now, and it's going to be short. So I'm glad you're
45.
45. This is good. This is a good one. Okay. True perfection seems imperfect, yet it is perfectly itself. True fullness seems empty, yet it is fully present. True straightness seems crooked. True wisdom seems foolish. True art seems artless. The master allows things to happen. She shapes events as they come. She steps out of the way and lets the Tao speak for itself. I love that last line, and like it's funny, I know I'm not letting you speak, but and this step of she steps out of the way and lets the Tao speak for itself. Like that's a line that, even though I've read this before, I don't know if you and I have had this one, but even though I know I've read this before, that line, she steps out of the way and lets the Tao speak for itself, just seems fresh and new to me.
And it is what everyone is trying to figure out how to do.
Yeah.
But they realize it or not.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I like this one. Let's do it.
Yeah. So, and this starts with true perfection seems imperfect, yet it is perfectly itself. And this is the core of my quote that states, don't let your definition of perfection rob you of yours.
Yeah. So true. So true. Yeah, we get so caught up in perfection. We also get caught up in what we perceive other people's perfection is and try to live up to that.
Right, because especially now with social media and all of these things where you can only really get a glimpse of something.
Yes.
Or you can only, you could create a world in which people only have a glimpse of you.
Yes.
Then, so I'm only going to show you the highlight reel.
And I'm going to show you what I wish my life looked like.
Right.
And
especially after, right.
Yeah, angled, filtered pictures that I look a certain way now, and I'm only going to do, the vacation pictures I did 10 years ago, but make it seem like I did them now. Like I know people who've done that, and I'm like, wow, this is unfortunate.
Yeah, and all of that is trying to. It seems to me like all of that is just trying to create this story, and that really creates this desire, right? And we've talked on this on Tao of the Day before about the idea of like so much desire for things like can steal so much of your energy.
Yes. And take you on an off-roading adventure that it ends up with having to hack down bushes in front of you. It just becomes heavy and difficult, and you just don't even realize it at that point. You're fighting it so much. that you don't realize you can actually just put that down and lean into the past.
Right. And also I want to kind of point out about this line, true perfection seems imperfect, yet it is
Yep.
perfectly itself. The,
Yep.
the reference of true perfection.
Yep.
So when we think of what perfection is, that's not perfect. Like that idea of like, oh, my perfect holiday, my perfect house, my perfect, like there's that isn't true perfection.
Well, nature is not perfect. There's always one petal that's slightly smaller or slightly larger. There's slight imperfections in the perfection of it.
Right. And which is why true perfection seems imperfect. Yet it
Right.
is perfectly itself. Even if that petal is smaller, that is perfectly itself.
But
Just
we
like
will
we
spend
are.
days, weeks, months getting the two letters to be perfectly aligned on something we're creating
Right.
by like such a small amount no one would ever notice,
Right.
where we could have built something else. We're so worried about the exact color of the background that we want to choose. Like, months will go by. Have you got that done yet? No, I still haven't quite figured out the color. Well, let's just move on from that.
I remember someone talking to me about their brother-in-law or somebody was opening a restaurant and they couldn't figure out like their silverware.
Mm,
And I was like, well, if they can't figure that out, they're never gonna open.
yeah.
If you can't just make a choice, you are never going to get past that. Like if that's the choice, then then you have to deal with the napkins, and you got to deal with the plates, and you got to deal with the tables, and you got to deal with the chairs, and you got to deal with everything. And if you can't just make a choice, and yes, you can like once you start, you can be like, oh, these weren't the wrong ones, these weren't the right ones, and then kind of shift. But just make a choice, and that is going to be perfect because it's the choice that was made.
Right. And if you get caught up in that perfect immediately, especially in a restaurant, I mean, there's imperfect.
Right.
Wow, that's got
Absolutely. There is, yeah, there's no end to
no.
where your choices are gonna lead you. Okay. True fullness seems empty. This is the line that kind of this stood out to me while I was reading it as well before I got to the end. True fullness seems empty, yet it is fully present.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I totally get that one. Shall I tell
I
you?
would like to hear, yeah, please, because it stood out to me, and I'm not
So,
sure why.
when I talk about intuition is in that middle zone. It's when you're not caught up in thinking and you're not caught up in feeling, and it's this middle zone. And when you're in that middle zone, there is such lightness and freedom in it that it almost feels like nothingness.
Right. So that's where it feels empty.
And so it does feel empty because you don't have the weight of thinking and you don't have the tugging and pulling and weight of emotions. You're in this kind of floating lightness of complete freedom of following intuition. And so that's where this really stands out to me.
That's interesting that you talk about it that way because now, like, I recall during my meditation this morning, like, I I achieved I at times achieved this moment of like I am not meditating. Like I am not like I am here and I can sense that I am here, but I am not present to like but I am totally present,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know?
It's where you don't, you're so aware and don't have to be aware at the same time because you're not on guard. You're not overly alert because you're thinking about it or feeling about it. You're able to recognize signs because you're like, hey, look over there. Hey,
Right.
opportunity.
Yeah.
It's floating, flowing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it goes through these three lines. True straightness seems crooked. True wisdom seems foolish. True art seems artless. And I think all of that is saying the same thing
Yeah.
that we recognize in the first two, the
Yeah.
perfection and fullness. Yeah. And I don't think they need any, like as an artist, I do love the idea that true art seems artless.
Hmm.
Um, but other than that, like, the straightness and crooked and wisdom and foolish, like how many times have you spoken to somebody about something like deep and profound that is like very wise, and they're like, yeah, I don't get that. What about this? And
Yeah.
there's just like they just like almost dismiss it, right? Like because it's
Or when
like that's silly,
oh yeah, duh.
right?
It's
Yeah,
more like they go, oh yeah, it sort of made it way too complicated. It's like when they suddenly go, wow, I'm a total dunce. Like I actually only had to do this one thing. I didn't have to do these 5,000 things or look at it this way. I tend to find it that way more often.
yeah. I did. I was talking to someone one time, and I was really excited about this. And this was years and years and years ago. I was talking to someone about a line in the Tao that was, what was it? It was, which is more, dangerous, success or failure? And the person I was talking to was just like, well, it depends. Like in our society, failure is pretty dangerous to a person, and da da da. And I was just like, yeah, but which is, like
Yeah.
like right, they were just making up the argument, and I get it, like, but that's like this. But I was like, I understand how they can see that as
Right.
being a foolish statement, but it's like, no, 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 there's wisdom here, and you're just not able you're not wanting to embrace it. I
Yeah. I
think
was
it goes
you're unwilling.
right,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
um the master allows things to happen. She shapes events as they come.
I mean,
So yeah, like,
mic drop.
you yeah, like you don't you're not walking into it with a preconceived concept of
Mm-mm.
what you shape it as they come. Just like there's like, you want your burger made when you order it, not you don't want it sitting under the heat lamp. Right? like,
Yeah.
and that's like this every event that comes. Do you have that burger sitting under a heat lamp, and is that something that you're going to is that a stale like product that you're going to put out in the world, or are you just going to like say, okay, this is the event, and it may take a little longer because I'm not reaching for the heat lamp food, but like it's going to be fresh, and this is going to be an answer that's fresh in this moment.
Yeah. And I feel like the master is intuition or the, universal messages that you get.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And
The
it's
man allows things to happen.
yeah, and allows things to happen because once you get into that emptiness, which is that total freedom of not being full of thinking too much and feeling like you have to be busy doing all these emotions of like, oh my god, I don't know what to do. And once you get rid of that and you're like in this emptiness, you're like, whew, this is nice. You can lean into it,
Yeah.
those messages.
And
Because
then we have that great last line. So she shapes events as they come, and then she steps out of the way and lets the Tao speak for itself.
well, I mean, yeah, that's exactly what it is. You get out of the way and just be in that middle zone, be lightness, allow that intuition to guide you because you get out of the way and just be aware of the signs that come. Pay attention, but you're not on high alert.
And that relates back to what we were talking about earlier about this idea of preparing to defend yourself. Because when we read through this, we see true perfection seems imperfect, true fullness seems empty, true straightness crooked, true wisdom foolish, true art artless. And here, if you step out of the way of it seeming artless, foolish, crooked, empty, or imperfect, if you step out of the way of those definitions, then the Tao can just be perfect within its perfection, be
Yeah,
full within its sense of emptiness, be straight even though it seems crooked. You don't have to defend it. It may seem crooked, but it is straight. It may seem foolish, but it is wise. It may seem artless, but it is art because it is part of the Tao. It is coming from you.
stop trying so hard.
I'm telling you.
That's what
And
I feel
that's
bringing it out in the world. Stop working and trying so hard. It's like you're going against the grain.
yeah.
Take a breath.
Years ago, I was listening to somebody speak. I don't know if it was Abraham Hicks or somebody, and they were talking about, like the cork. If you allow yourself just to float on the stream, and you can feel that energetically, just like if
Mm-hmm.
you're floating, you're gonna go with the stream. Whereas going against the stream is work. And so,
Ah,
like, if you can tell in your day, like, oh wait, I'm actually paddling backwards. Hold on, let me just let myself go to it. Let myself just be taken by it.
well, we hear people like, "Gosh, don't feel like I'm making any headway." Rowing
Yeah.
upstream, is that not making a lot of headway fast? Probably. So
Right.
shout out. I think it's Emily that keeps sending us stuff. So thank you, Emily.
Emily. Oh, Emily, my buddy, my nurse out there, the world.
I just want to say this was a good one. We totally know what we're doing.
We do. We are on track, on path, and living the good life. All right. Well, we'll be in touch. Maybe Emily will come up and join me for a Dow next.
But
And
thank you for my morning start. Sorry I missed it yesterday. It is my
oh,
down day with my buddy Martin John. Love you
yeah,
guys. Goodbye.
love you. Oh, such a wonderful. Oh, and she is. See, I coaxed her up. Emily is going to join us. And this, everybody, is going to be my
You.
last Dow for today. What's going on, Emily? How you doing?
I'm better today, Mark.
Oh, good. I heard yesterday you were not doing so hot.
Well, I mean, Sunday I said I didn't get to go to church because I'm getting sick again, and now I'm getting mad at how this COVID thing has hurt me physically. So I guess I was having a little bit of a pity party.
Yeah, pity parties are okay, but when we're done, we have to look back on them and say, "What? That's
Well, see,
behind."
here's what happened. I was having a pity party, and I was like, well, the church said I'm the church, so I'll do a podcast, which I probably wasn't in the right place because I'm very
Mm,
fragile right now, my perimenopausal state. And I'm with a
yeah,
very lovely partner who brings me back to my human experience so that I don't attribute those feelings to something else
yeah,
external,
right.
which women are always trying to figure things out. We're always thinking. We're always thinking. That's why I can't be around too much of that because I already do that. So I like you men because the way you think is less energetically to me uh like a cacophony.
Mm,
Like I have to be a spiritual medium just with my mortal girlfriends to figure out what the f they're saying because there's so much they want you to read between the lines for, and I don't want to spend my energy like that.
right,
So in my free time, because I take care of patients and all these problems, and oh gosh, death after death after death in the most traumatic settings, in
right.
prison during COVID, and then but what I really like is a peaceful death. And now I've realized like how much I have put my own needs aside for everybody else, and I have to say I'm not good at taking care of myself. It's very
Mm,
humbling, even though I'm not doing anything bad. I should probably be getting exercise. I know that's good for me. I'm avoiding it. Why? Because it's going to tell me how weak I am now compared to the last time, and I don't want to know that. So I'm just there's this, how we do.
we do, yeah.
So anyway,
So let's get into this. I wanna before we go, Nancy, I know you're in line. Unfortunately, I have a workshop happening in about 45 minutes or so. So I'm gonna end at Emily, so that I can prep for that and do things. So I really appreciate you being in line, but I'm not gonna be able to take anybody after Emily. So Emily, what number?
3.
Three. I did three the other day, and I did 33 the other day. Lots of
Oh, did
threes
I?
coming.
Do you want me to do another one?
I don't know if you did three.
Oh, I didn't do 3. No, I
All
haven't
right, well
listened.
then
I
let's
haven't
do
done
three. No,
this.
no, 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 no. That's fine.
I
Like
only did this once with you
this
so
is
far.
this is a completely new experience. So we
Yeah,
are
this is a
going
new
to,
experience.
yeah. If you overesteem great men, people become powerless. If you overvalue possessions, people begin to steal.
Uh-huh.
The master leads by emptying people's minds and filling their cores, by weakening their ambition and toughening their resolve. He helps people lose everything they know, everything they desire, and creates confusion in those who think they know.
Oh.
Practice not doing, and everything will fall in place.
Okay, I was good. because I was relating it to a certain experience. So go through your thing and we'll figure it out.
Okay, so we'll start with here. If you overesteem great men, people become powerless.
Yeah, I did. I did that in my relationship of 24 years. I gave him too much authority over me.
Okay. And how did you kind of adjust to that? Like, I know you're in a great relationship now.
Well, I used to think that our partnership was a big old mistake and I'd wasted half my life. But his father, now that I'm a medium, has been
Mm.
communicating with me. And I had a very loving relationship with him, but it only lasted for 2 of our mortal years together.
Mm.
And I remember him saying when he met my parents, and I think he knew we were not going to make it because I was too strong for his son. He knew his son wanted a submissive, but he wasn't going to marry in his own culture because if he had married in his own culture, he would have found what he really wanted. But he was trying to make an American into an Eastern European communist dwelling woman,
I,
and that's never going to work with me.
unless you
So
have
so
access to poison, because I think that's how they do it.
Well, yeah, because and also he's a narcissist because a lot of those Eastern European and a lot of
Yeah, yeah,
Italian,
yeah.
because they have these mothers that just worship the boys because the boys are so
Right.
worshipped, they
Yeah.
become little mighty empires in themselves,
Yeah.
which makes them great leaders. But if they start to not like you anymore, they can use those powers to demean you. And because I was in my head all the time trying to please others, I let him stay on my train too long.
Yeah.
So I learned through his father. It wasn't a mistake. His father knew we were going to get divorced, and he said, "You're going to have maybe you guys are going to have a son that's going to be the president of the United States." And certainly, actually, with my heart and his father's, very engineering, analytical, political, rigid mind, and his way to contain his emotions enough, but he still has emotions. He actually would make a great politician.
Yeah.
But he has to figure out his own journey, and I'm not putting any pressure on him. You
Right.
can't do that. So, okay, that's it.
All right. Yeah. Beautiful. And then if you overvalue possessions, people begin to steal.
Yeah, I think some people that should have supported my pain might have had ulterior motives for keeping me in the relationship because it was beneficial to them.
So they overvalue the possession of having you there, or they were benefiting somehow out of that, and so they began to steal maybe your time or energy or whatever.
Yes, and grasp and cling in their ways that comfort them,
Hmm.
but so go on.
The master leads by emptying people's minds and filling their cores, by weakening their ambition and toughening their resolve.
Yes, and so I believe that's my father-in-law, Poshko, telling me not to worry so much about his son, that he is going through the process he needs to, because I've been worrying too much about his heart because he's still my children's father, and we were together for half my life, right?
Yeah.
But I recognize he was toxic now, and I'm trying to fix him when really I should be concentrating on my true soulmate. And I'm so blessed to have found. Now that I've done these hard things that toughen me up, right? Though I went through a hard marriage, but it toughened me up. I purified, and now I've had to get professional help because it was fucked up in every way, and I never did my childhood stuff really fully. So I know what that means, and he's telling me to let go energetically because the master will work with him, and it's not my responsibility. So that's my codependency, worrying about my ex-husband. Go on.
Right. And so, well, I want to kind of dip into this as well, this emptying people's minds, because you are a thinker. You're an intellectual, I think. Like you think with your heart. I don't know if that's true, but it
No,
seems
I
like,
do. I do.
yeah.
But I also have to be analytical because I'm taking care of other people's lives.
Right. And so like and the master leads by emptying people's minds and filling their cores. And I think as you're kind of getting led through your life, you are emptying your mind and filling your core and finding what feels right. Because I think maybe some of the first decisions, maybe your first marriage was this or your marriage was this kind of
Checking
place of,
boxes intellectually, like, okay, he'll be
yeah.
good like this, and he'll be good like that, and he'll be good like that. But we didn't have a chemistry.
Right. Your mind was full, but your core was empty. And here it is, the master leads
Yeah.
by emptying the mind and filling the core. And then, this caveat after it, which is by weakening their ambition and toughening their resolve. Like ambition, like to have the right you had ambition to have a good marriage. You had ambition to have this marriage be something, and all of these things, all of those check boxes that like those were all part of ambition. And then like now you're you're tough as nails, right? Like you have built this resolve to be present and to be who you are today, and that resolve is really deep. And I know that that as you start going through like both physical as well as mental and financial shifts in your life and stuff, like you need to be resolute.
I do. I'm a single woman now. I mean,
Yeah.
technically, I have a partner, but we haven't committed our lives
No,
together
yeah,
yet.
no, I hear that. Yeah. And so now, not only are you like you're a single mom, and like this is you building even more resolution, even
Yeah,
more
yeah, because that's
more
deep.
resolute.
You know how you know about your childhood wounding, but it's still maybe not the toughest part of your emotional being? I
Yeah,
have deep wounding around the shame, around the poverty I had. Well, I felt that I had in my childhood.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
quickly learned at 16 I did not when I saw people in Mexico living in cardboard boxes. So I appreciated
Right.
I got that experience early.
And this is where he helps people lose everything they know, everything
Yes.
they desire, and creates confusion in those who think they know. And that's what happened to you when you went to Mexico, right? Like you
Right.
thought you knew some shit.
Yes.
And you thought you knew what was going on, and he helps people lose everything that they know, and that changed everything for you.
Yeah, it
Everything that you
did.
desired was really just kind of put into perspective and creates confusion. Now, back then I'm sure you felt very confused about all the things that you were feeling, and he creates confusion in those that think they know. And you definitely thought you knew, because as we talked about earlier, like when you empty people's minds, and your mind was so full of all that you knew.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're right. And then thank you so much. And I was actually I came up actually to compliment you because you helped me. I'm too much in my head when I'm alone and when I'm doing my professional nursing job and all of that. And I haven't been doing what I know I stopped working to do, which is the practices I teach but don't actually do myself. And so spirit has been laughing with me and little synchronicities have been poking at me and giving me truths that I really I can't just like I gotta stop teaching other people my new inspirations. Maybe like and I because I do feel so passionate about helping people who've had some similar experiences, but there are times to help and there are times to heal. And right now I have to heal. And so I've been so grateful. Some spirit has really been giving me some delightful coinky dink that has been
Yeah.
uplifting my spirit. So you were part of that.
Oh.
Because there's something so I'm just gonna say something really creepy. I'm very much attached to my soulmate, but I do believe that our whoever coordinates us meeting certain people at certain times for certain reasons.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There's definitely a connection. So yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, but my point though was in getting to know you on this app, there's something that resonates about your energy, and this is a
Yeah.
compliment to you that
Yeah.
is soothing to my soul because I have a very sensitive soul, and you're right. I have built like a great wall of china around my heart because I'm not going to get trixied again, right?
Right. Right.
I'm looking for the flags. I know with my head, and I almost divorced my current soulmate spiritually a couple of times but I would be directed to look at the clock because angel energy communicates with me a lot and they've been teaching me their language, which is different. It's more numbers for me with them and feelings and like tender loving feelings like now I've learned, but initially it was just the numbers and I couldn't. It was so funny, like I'd see it on the clock, I'd be directed to look at the clock and I just kept noticing how many times I would just happen because I don't care about time usually unless I'm in the hospital.
Right.
And it just happened over and over. So I learned that language, and I can't remember my point, but
Yeah. And
333 has been happening a lot, and that's why I said three today.
yeah, that's a those are those sorts of angel numbers. It's interesting how often I when I glance at the clock on wisdom, or when I glance at the clock, or whatever, like that I see those triple numbers or quadruple numbers and stuff, and it's
Yeah, and
it's like and every time I see that I go, I'm on the right path. That's
that's right.
okay. I'm on the right path, and just continue going that way. And like I said, like I remember, when when I connect with Catherine, when I connect with Bella, like there are so many people, both male and female, that I have so much love for on this app, and so much just like there is a deep connection between so many of us, and each one of them is different. and I love the connections that I have with all of them. And you are definitely there, and I recognize that. It's something that I'm really grateful for.
Well, thank you. I mean, there are certain energies that are more attractive than others, especially when you're an empath and a sensitive, and you got to find your tribe that doesn't poke you on your off hours, right?
Right.
Oh my.
So here at the end of this, now that like we've done with this, creating confusion in those who think that they know, practice not doing, and everything will fall into place.
Right, I believe that very much. I have to not. I have being very busy as an old coping mechanism to keep me out of my heart space.
Yeah.
And so I understand that. And I want to tell you something really quick because I know you got to go. But do you know that there's actual clinical laboratory data that proves there are brain cells in the heart?
Yes, and the gut.
Yes, in the gut. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the connections, we are body, mind, spirit, body. And we are animals too. And it's so hard with our senses, and especially if you're sensitive, to sift through all that. But I think the most effective form of communication is just listening to your heart in every situation. But I had so many years of education. I love to be very analytical.
Yeah. Yeah. We do, and we love that about you. We love because you come in with such passion, and that passion is analytical, intellectual, and the thing is that you also honor the heart. Thank you so much, Emily. I do have two people on. I'm going to, bring Nancy up, and Dr. Rao, I'm not going to be able to bring you up. I'm just going to bring her up to say hello and see if she is there. She may have stepped away. Okay. And I'm going to bring Dr. Rao up to say hello, but I have a workshop happening in about 40 minutes, so I'm not going to be able to talk. And there's Dr. Rao. Okay, Dr. Rao stepped away as well. That's good. That's good. I'm glad of that. Emily's up. I want to see if she wanted to say something. Otherwise, I will check out. You are here. How you doing? Did you want to say
I'm
something?
good. I was just gonna express gratitude, but then, I just wasn't fast enough with my device, and somehow I lost your volume, and it was my devices have been causing me so much trouble. I think it's spirit just saying, "Put them down."
Put them down. I was talking to Julie yesterday, and she had an earache, and I was like, maybe that means you have to stop listening for a
Yeah,
while.
yeah. Whatever
Just
is
put
just
that down.
poking you. Listen to that. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much for you. Thank you. Every and this is not ego boosting, but you are truly helping me energetically, and I appreciate you. This is
Oh.
like listening to you is part of my healing journey, and
Oh.
so thank you.
I'm really glad to hear that, and I'm glad that you're a part of mine.
Thank you. Gracias, señor.
Ah, trying the Spanish again. Okay.
Actually, no Spanish. They'd say gracias.
That's true.
Yeah.
Gracias.
Gracias.
All
Okay.
right.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
day, sir.
Nancy came back. I'm going to bring her up just to say hello, and we're going to see. Maybe I can even read hers if she has a number for me. But we're going to be ending shortly. Hey, Nancy, how you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning. You're soft today. Are you far away?
I'm far away. I'm in a different world.
I
I'm
bet.
kidding.
So today I have a workshop happening in about a half hour. So I'm not going to be doing a full Tao. But if you have a number, I can read it to you, and then I can send you the text, and then maybe we can talk about it another time.
Okay. Yeah, 15 keeps hitting me.
15. All right. I'm going to read 15, and then I'll send it to you. It's a longer one, but it's not too long. The
Okay.
ancient masters were profound and subtle. Their wisdom was unfathomable. There is no way to describe it. All we can describe is their appearance. They were careful as someone crossing over an iced over stream, alert as a warrior in enemy territory, courteous as a guest, fluid as melting ice, shapeable as a block of wood, receptive as a valley, and clear as a glass of water. Do you have the patience to wait till your mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving till the right action arises by itself? The master doesn't seek fulfillment. Not seeking, not expecting, she is present and can welcome all things.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Is that I'm going to send that to you on Instagram, and then we'll catch up again sometime soon.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Love you. Have a
I love you
wonderful
too.
day.
You too. Bye.
Okay. Okay, everybody, that was a short. I think that's only the second time I've had to cut our Tao of the Day short, and I apologize, but I don't really. I love like throwing a monkey wrench in the works. It's okay. Got to be here, be present with whatever comes, right? And this is good. And this morning, I got working with Christina Hull, and it was a beautiful. That was beautiful as well. So I have a workshop happening. If you are interested, if you have so the 9 o'clock hour, which is about a half hour from now, if you have the next 3 hours free and want to join me for my workshop, I would love to have you. Just shoot me a message over on Instagram, and I'll send you a link to the Zoom. And I would do that, free of charge for anybody that wants to go. There is nobody signed up for my workshop today, and that's always sad, but I always show up and be present anyway. So I'm going to do it anyway. So yeah, if you are interested in checking out my workshop, definitely show up and just shoot me a message on my Instagram DM, and I'll send stuff to you, and we'll have a nice little time. All right. It is a 3 hour workshop, so you would have to have the next 3 hours or so kind of free. There's a lot of writing. It's pretty heavy. The people that have done this with me usually get tired afterwards. So nothing physical. It's all looking in. So if you guys are interested in that, reach out to me. Otherwise, I will be having more dates at some point soon. Love you guys. I really appreciate this app and each and every one of you that is here. You're all such a wonderful part of my journey, and showing me so much of myself. I appreciate you. All right. Well, I'm Martin John. I host the Recover Yourself podcast and the Recover Yourself workshops and all of those things. And like I said, if you're interested, shoot me a message shoot me a DM on Instagram, and I will be in touch with you. Other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful day. And I'm going to be on here doing an on recovery talk a little bit later today, and I'm going to be talking about the difference between wanting and desiring, and how those things work together within addiction and within our lives. So yeah, if you're around for that, I would love to chat with you. Other than that, hope you have a wonderful day, and until next time, keep recovering yourself.